Hi everybody, welcome to the Copro Conflabs number 3. I'm Mark and I'm from Flintshire Do It.
And I'm Lucy and I'm from Outside Live. Today we have got our special guests, Justin Melliwish.
Hello.
Mrs. Karen Melliwish. And Sam Boyer.
Hey there, Sam. Can you say hello to us, Sam?
Hello.
Nice
Show
hair.
your hair, Sam. Show us your hair.
Okay, Lucy, off you go.
So I suppose last week we talked about how we can create something really good with investment from different people. So just by bringing people together and thinking about a project, we can create a bigger and better project. Does that make sense? Using the resources, networks and assets that people have generally. Mark, do you want to add to that?
Yes, so what we're going to try and introduce to you is something we borrowed called the wedding planner, which you might be able to see there, which asks you to plan an event, but you've got no money. Now, you might also start with this tool up behind me called the Co-Production Action Planner. So that's another useful tool, but we just want to share our own ideas on our own networks, because Justin had an idea a little while ago, didn't you, Justin?
Yes, it did, Mark.
Share it with us, Justin. Share it with us.
So I'm planning to do a music festival for Outside Lives.
Way. That was brilliant. And we've talked about this a lot, haven't we, Justin? So I know that you've got lots of ideas.
Yeah, I have.
I know, with that big smile.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you talk about the Copro tool behind you. I think what would be really good is if we concentrate today on this wedding planner, or it's the festival planner. Like you say, no resources, talking to one another about how we would do it and who we would pull in to help us. And then perhaps next week we can look at using that tool to pad that idea out a little bit more. Would that be cool?
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay.
So I'm going to write festival in the middle here.
So the thing to think about here, right, is with this planning tool, as I said, you've got no money. So we got 5 people in this conversation, and we are hoping, and we haven't staged this, we're hoping that we've got enough resources between us to plan a mini music festival. So we got to start thinking about what are the components, what are the things we need for a festival, what kind of things. Let's talk about that first before we come up with ideas. What do we need?
A venue. We have a lovely venue.
Venue. Yeah. I can provide that.
Yeah.
What else do we need, guys? What else is really important for a music festival?
Music.
Musicians, yeah. And then a host. We want somebody to present.
Might we need, besides music performers, might we want to find other types of performers as well?
Performers, yeah. Food. That's a big one. I think that comes before music in my mind.
Yeah. Like, dine with me, like from the buffet, what you did, Lucy.
No, we need that. What you had for your 30th birthday, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We had a hot dog van that came and like parked. I don't know.
I'm afraid
Remember,
it needs to be a vegan hot dog van.
Yeah, we definitely.
Well, remember we got no money, so we might need somebody with a van.
Yeah.
What else might we need? So we need sound gear, don't we? Need techie stuff.
Yeah, tech gear. We need decorations.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
We need those things that you hang. We need wristbands and what they call the festival guide.
Lanyards.
Yeah.
VIP ones.
VIP.
Oh yeah. So we.
For Justin and Sam.
No, for other people, actually.
Okay, so we might add some of the bits and pieces in, but if we start with a venue, and Karen suggested that we've got a venue. So Lucy, can we just elaborate on what you've got there venue-wise?
Yeah, so Justin, I think this is where the dream came from, Justin, wasn't it? That we've got an outside space,
Yes.
a really cool setting, a bit of a stage going on that actually Sam has performed on before, haven't you, Sam? You did your Wellows there when you were in that. And Justin, you've performed on the stage before, haven't you, in some of the workshops and things? So, yeah, you're very welcome to use our space for this session. That would be really cool. So, outside live, and free, of course.
Free, of course. Okay, so let's start getting on to. We've got to, if we're going to have a festival, we've got to have some performers, some people, some entertainment. So let's think about entertainers, or who's an entertainer, or what have we got? Let's look at that.
So, Sam's a bit of an entertainer. I don't know where he's gone. He's still there, Sam? Oh, maybe not.
I've got two in mind for entertainment. One's Emerge, Sound Express, and Ghostbusters.
Brilliant. So musicians Emerge, Ghostbusters, Sound Express, yeah?
Yeah.
Here's Sam. So Sound Express are a band that you're part of, that's right, isn't it, Justin?
Yes, Mark, it is.
And then Ghostbusters are a band that we know from Colwyn Bay, a big community band. Yeah.
Have you got any performer mates, Sam?
My friend's dad's in a band.
Okay, cool. So who's your friend?
They perform at venues in like Mold. They perform at like the Mold Food Festival and what else? Live on the Square.
Is that 50 Hertz?
I don't know. It's whichever one that Harry's dad's in.
He's the drummer.
Yeah.
I know 50 Hertz as well, and they've actually offered to do a gig. I've forgotten about that, so that's a really good show.
So what are they called?
50 Hertz.
Oh yeah, I've heard you talk about them before.
Yeah, they're great. And then we've got Babylon Leaf as well. We'll ask them.
I was going to say they're another good one.
And we've also got some other musical friends. So Chris Ablett, Lucy.
Yeah. So Chris is drumming.
And what about has Jill Blanford got some musical connections?
Yeah, her husband Nick. He does like folk music, lovely Welsh folk music. So we'll speak to Nick as well. He's definitely up for it. He's already come to me and asked about something happening. So yeah.
And then I'm just thinking, Justin, we had a session locally back before Christmas where we were trying to create our own version of the Ghostbusters. Do you remember? In
Yes.
the village hall?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got a load of people there really interested. I don't know what we were going to call them. We were going to call them the Mold Ghostbusters or the Mold Buskers. I don't know what we were going to call them. But if we had a festival to aim for, working with the Ghostbusters, we could aim to perform there. Because I've got a guitar, as you know. You've got a bass.
Yes.
Mark Price, a friend of ours, plays bass and guitar a bit.
Perhaps we could have an open mic stage. You know, where people just come along.
Yeah.
So I'll put that on here, yeah. And then
What about PA systems and sound systems? Have we got anything?
Yeah. So my friend Mike and Tim are in a band. They would be able to advise us on PA sound systems. I know that. So I'll speak to them.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Emerge and maybe the Ghostbusters would contribute in some way to that.
Okay, so let's move on. What about the host?
I've made my own songs for my own album. I made them up for them on Instagram later from today.
Okay, so you'd be joint host, is that what you're saying? So that you could be like leading.
Yeah.
Like compare just, you know, you do the mic and you introduce the bands and would that be up your street?
You're right with that.
I know you're going to be in one of the bands, but you could be co-hosting it and introducing people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we've got another co-host on the screen right now, potentially. Mr. Bowyer.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about what you could do.
Well, I've got a performing arts background, so I've done stuff like hosting before, so I was going to use that and do some hosting, maybe bring in some drag elements with making it outside as well, so bring in an element of an animal. So what we were thinking was a fox.
But this was for our launch event that was sadly cancelled because of COVID, but Sam, the big surprise for Sam was that he was going to be Fantastic Mrs. Fox, and hosting it as Fantastic Mrs. Fox, so that might be a really cool thing to do. And Justin, actually, his band and Emerge were going to do. Do you remember what you're going to do, Justin?
Badger.
The Badger set.
Yeah,
So
Badger set.
if we could do that theme again, you know, and this maybe that would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I love it. So the woodland animals, yeah.
Max Singer.
So what about so we've got the hosts, we've got some performers. We need now some decorations. Who could potentially do some decorations out of our networks? I know that we've got a lot of creators through Artbox. So I could put a call out on our Facebook art page and say, look, we're doing a festival. This is the theme. Do you reckon people could contribute? What do you reckon about that?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I'd have a go at making some fun in as well.
That would be amazing.
Also, the Brewitt gang.
Yeah.
So Artbox. So we've got Bunty. I tell you what, Teresa's also amazing at making things, isn't she?
Yeah.
You see, I was thinking the Brewitt gang, the Coffee Morning gang, if they had an art related project, they'd use that every week.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
I was thinking some of the things if you wanted to add in. So my friends from Tape who run the Ghostbusters, they've also got pop-up cinema gear.
Yeah.
So you could bring in an element which is around watching a film together, and also might we want to capture this in terms of photography and video? Because we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
So we've got two photographers that have done voluntary work for Outside Lives last year. So we've got Tanya and we've got Marcus. I know Marcus is he's just got a drone and all sorts of stuff like that. I know that he'd be really up for getting involved.
Of course, we've got Mark Cooper, a friend of Do It, and he's very good at photographing wildlife, so he'd be good with the foxes.
Yeah.
The local wildlife.
Okay. We need somebody to also sort of write a little report and get feedback, as you know, like a bit of a reporter going around. I don't know who could do that. I know my friend Louise Wynn's really, really good at writing down, describing things very beautifully in written words. So I might ask her to do that.
And of course, we've all got friends in the local press who quite like some of the work that we're doing. So I'm sure they'd come along and cover it if we asked them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm saving. So making the lanyards is quite a good job. Sort of graphic design styled, you know, it'd be quite a nice. They'd need printing, I think, wouldn't they? So somebody to design something really cool about that. I don't know who. I mean, we've got a graphic designer called Sandrine. We could. I'll share this video with her and see if she's up for doing us a freebie.
I could try and have a little word with our friend Fran as well, who did our logo.
Yes. Okay, so we've got some people to go to anyway, at least.
Yeah.
What would we do about the food and drink?
This is the best bit.
This
is the challenge, isn't it? Because without any money, how do you do that?
We need donations, don't we?
So, do you remember how we did the Come Dine With Us event?
Yes.
Everybody brought something with them. So we had a sharing table. That worked really well. There was so much food. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So perhaps we have that again. You know, we say, like, you know, sort of one of the things that we say here is that it needs to be vegetarian if it's here. So perhaps, and I think everybody sort of embraced that, didn't they? To come down with us, everybody brought vegetarian food and enjoyed it. So perhaps we do that. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's doable, isn't it?
Yeah. So bring a dish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easy to get someone to be acting like a waiter or something for that.
You want to be
Yeah. So you did. So somebody to serve drinks, and we could do the same with a bar, couldn't we? We could ask people to bring their own drinks, and it just goes behind the bar, and then we have somebody serving the drinks.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So bring the dish, bring the drink, yeah?
Yeah.
And so then we need, I'm sure we could recruit Nia. Imagine Nia dressed up as, well, no, we've dressed her up as a bumblebee and ask her to drinks, or she'd be ace at that, wouldn't she, Sam?
Yeah.
And she'd enjoy that.
I'm thinking there's kind of like a theme for this festival. Might be something to do with wildlife.
Yeah.
The wildlife of mould. So,
yeah, wildlife. Yeah, love it. So all the people that are sort of volunteering there could be potentially dressed up. We could get Edna dressed up as a squirrel. She'll laugh at this. She'll know why. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
So we've only spent just over 10 minutes actually gathering ideas, connections, resources together, and we've already got the makings of a festival. We've got plenty of performers, we've got cinema, we've got hosts, we've got music, we've got food, we've got decorations, and we've got some wacky kind of ideas. And I think in this sort of environment, it's about being as creative and out there as you can, and even if you have to rein it in a little bit, you've aimed high. And I think, a wildlife festival, isn't it a good song by Talking Heads? It's a wild life. So, that's what I got in my head. And we could create a band that we talked about, Justin. We could create that band to be premiering a performance at the festival, couldn't we?
Yes.
And we could pick an appropriate song or write a song. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've got to finish it there, Lucy. Have you got anything else to say?
Just that it just shows how you can build that excitement within us five now. I'm pretty sure Sam's excited, even though he doesn't look too excited. It just shows how you can build that excitement. Now I feel like really invested in it, and I know Justin's been invested in this from day one. I think Sam has been, he's been totally supportive of all the stuff we've been planning before, so I know that he's just put everything into this as well.
Yeah.
So it shows how quickly you can start to develop the bones of a plan, and then I think next week we could just build on that. So by co-producing this idea, Justin's idea, we've actually got something really mega. I think if I'd have done that or tried to do it on my own, I perhaps wouldn't have come up with half of these ideas. So a brainstorm at the really early stages is vital.
Great. So shall we thank our little collective of event planners, and maybe some of them, if not all of them, will come back next week and we can try and turn it into more of an action plan. It's getting beyond the ideas to the doing.
Fab.
Is that okay, everybody? Should we all say bye-bye? Say till next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Wait.
Cheers, Sam. See you, Karen and Justin.